Keating did create trouble today for the Labor Party once led. What do they now do? Do they shut up and seem to agree with him, or point out that he's deluded and a dangerous fool? Because he made it personal today, attacking Labor's Foreign Affairs spokesman, Penny Wong, for not being soft enough on China.
Certainly Penny Wong's taken a position there shouldn't be an ounce of daylight between her and the Liberal Party. You have no big disputes because you're glued up onto the government, but you make no national progress.
Joining me is former Labor Senator and former Cabinet Minister, Steve Conroy. Steve, thanks for your time. Paul Keating's arguments there that China is no real threat and we should just accommodate it, show it some respect. Is he right?
Look, he's absolutely wrong, and it's very disappointing. Paul is a legend of the Labor Party. He was an extraordinary economic reformer, and he also had a footprint on the world stage in what he achieved around APEC at the time. But the world has fundamentally shifted since Xi took over, and the sort of defence he mounted, he's just afraid that people might knock him off. I mean, that's what every dictator surrounds themselves with sycophants and lives in fear of their own people. I mean, Xi is living in fear of his own people. He's created a surveillance state to suppress dissent and control people's lives so that they can't object to his rule. He's engaged in virtual genocide with the Uyghur population, and the propaganda that we're all subjected to worldwide about how they're really just a kindly re-education for the Uyghur people should horrify people. And to see Paul defending these atrocities really does leave me terribly disappointed.
But what do you think's happened here? Is it just that he likes being contrary? Has he got too close to China in the past? What is the story here?
Look, I think he's invested in the Xi that he would have known through, his time in government and the belief that we all believed and hoped for, that there would be a benign rise in China. But for him to turn a blind eye, to obfuscate, I mean, Paul is a sharp mind and a sharp observer. Those 200 vessels perched off the coast of the Philippines that are there to intimidate and stop legal fishing in legal Philippine waters is just, I'm sorry, Paul, it's not territory. It's not, they're just accidentally there. They are there to intimidate. They've intimidated the Indonesians. They've been intimidating Myanmar. They've intimidated and forced an oil drilling vessel from Vietnam back to shore. They're sailing with the Russians through Japanese island chains. And this is all against international law. So when Paul says they want to reform, they don't want to reform. They want control, as he accidentally said, as you just pointed out. And his criticism of Penny Wong was just terrible. Penny is doing an excellent job in steering Australia through the most challenging foreign policy time in 25 years. We are now in a region where there is growing instability caused by China. And all of the nations around China are all looking for some leadership and the ability to point out China's behaviour. I mean, the economic coercion, the literally military coercion, as I talked about, the 200 vessels off the coast of the Philippines to make sure that they obey. This is not a nation that is prepared to brook any dissent. If you criticise its human rights, if you criticise, increasingly evidence that they suppressed the true cause of the coronavirus, the COVID outbreak, the lies that they've told around we wouldn't militarise the islands in the South China Sea. Xi said that. And then what did they do? Militarise the islands. Paul can't keep just waving his hand and dismissing the actions of the president of China. He says, we're going to take Taiwan.
He does.
And he's and he continues to do that. And I think if you've had business relationships with the Chinese state, all of their state apparatus, you should declare that in these conversations. I've got none with the US. I've got none with America. I have none. And you should declare it. But the most truly chilling thing that China have done recently is when Canada arrested the CEO of Huawei for breaches of sanctions, the Chinese just randomly picked 2 Canadian citizens working in China and arrested them and have held them effectively hostage under bogus charges. That's the sort of lunatic behaviour we expect of in Iran. You tell people if you're going to Iran, you've got to take care. And if you're an Australian business,
well, mate, I would not
you
dare,
should be
and I don't think you would dare.
Chilled by this.
I don't think either of us should dare to go to China. I wouldn't. I was arrested last time for something else. I don't think I'd be let out next time. And the thing too, let us never.
But if you're a CEO,
there are 2 Australians in jail right now that I think, in part, it's because of China wanting to put pressure on us. Right? Let us not forget that. One of them was a journalist. Steve Conroy.
If I was an Australian CEO of an Australian company, all good.
No good. Terrific, mate. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thanks, Andrew.